Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy E. It is 10:52 of the 6th of October, and I'm actually over here in Colorado. They got me up on a break until they can, give me another assignment. But long story short was this: I had some time. Unfortunately, not a lot of camera time to film a PTI. But what I'm about to do is I'm about to release I'm gonna try to release two forms of a PTI. There's a DMV type, and then there's the actual kind that you do on the street. They're both very, very related, obviously. I mean, the DMV kind just basically breaks it down a little bit more, and so when you're doing the street style, you're implementing everything from the DMV. But for the most part, there's a little, odds and ends to tie up. I did the best I could. Obviously, when you're doing the PTI, my advice: take your time. YouTube only allows 15 minutes, so that's why I kind of, bowl through it. If I think I missed something, obviously I'll add a little comment on the bottom. But for the most part, I think I did pretty good for, brief run through. But that's what's up. So enjoy this PTI. Take it, learn it in segments and in parts. My recommendation: learn. It breaks down. You have the outside inspection, then you have the frame of the trailer or the tractor, and then you have the engine, and then you have the suspension, then you have the brakes, and then you have the trailer, then you have the frames, and then and just break it down to little parts and study it segment by segment and go over and over and get familiar with it. And then from there, you guys should ace it, man. So good luck and enjoy the video. Any questions, comments, hit me up. Till then, thanks for the requests and the supports. I'm gonna get some lunch and chill and make this video. See, I got my laptop right here and my iPod going, so ready to rock and roll. Till then, peace. Okay, we want to start with the lights. You have your outside lights on the cab indicating the clearance of the cab. Your three lights in the middle indicating this is a commercial vehicle. And you have your outside lights of your trailer indicating the clearance of the trailer. You have your turn signals on both sides, and and you want all those to be in good working condition and orange in color. From here, you want to go ahead and check your side mount mirrors, making sure you're not missing any hardware and everything is in good working condition. Also checking the mirrors, making sure it's not broken and that your weather stripping is in good working condition. From there, you have your headlights. You want to make sure your headlights are in good working condition, no cracks and damage. And if you have fog lights, you want to check those lights too. Basically, you want to check all your lights and making sure all your lights are in good working condition. From here, you want to go ahead and check the hood, making sure the hood has no cracks or damages, and you want to make sure your hood is securely mounted to the frame of the trailer. From here, you have your grill. You want to make sure your grill is in good working condition and there's nothing obstructing the airflow to the radiator. From here, what you want to do is you want to check the bottom. You want to check the axle, making sure there's no bends, cracks, or illegal welds. And you also want to check down here for any leaks. Type of leaks you're looking for is air, coolant, oil, and fuel. You also want to check your plate, making sure that your license plate is up to date and is securely mounted to the cab. From here, if your cab comes with straps for the hood, you want to check the straps, making sure the straps are in good working condition. Mine opens from the inside, but that's a Volvo, so we open it up. Okay. From here, we're going to go ahead and check the frame of the trailer. On our walk around, you want to also check the steps, making sure it's free of any debris, and there's no bends or cracks on that. Frame of the trailer. You want to go and check the frame, making sure there's no bends, cracks, or illegal welds, and that there's no illegal holes other than what the manufacturer has already put in. You also want to check your cross member, making sure your cross member has no bends or cracks or illegal welds as well. From here, we're gonna go ahead and check the catwalk, making sure it's free of any debris, no bends or cracks, and everything is in good working condition. From here, we have our fuel tank. We want to make sure our fuel tank has no cracks, no leaks, no damage. You also want to check the strap, making sure the strap's in good working condition and that it's securely fastened to the bracket. The bracket is securely fastened to the frame. You also want to check the cap, making sure it's securely fastened, and you want to check the hoses and any electrical. The hoses, making sure there's no cracks or leaks, and everything's well secured. And on the electrical, making sure that the electrical is well insulated. Same inspection I did for this fuel tank applies to the driver's side fuel tank. From here, we're going to go ahead and check the exhaust. You want to make sure the exhaust has no holes and that there's no cracks or damage. And you also want to check the heat shield, making sure the heat shield's in good working condition. From there, you want to make sure everything's securely fastened to the bracket, and the bracket securely mounted to the frame, not missing any hardware, and everything is in good working condition. Okay, from here we move to the engine. What you want to do is you want to make sure that all the hoses have all their clamps securely fastened, that the hoses themselves have no cracks or damage, no air leaks. You want to check all the clamps. You want to go ahead and check your coolant tank, making sure your coolant tank is securely mounted to the frame or to the brackets. And while we're here, we want to go ahead and check the alternator, the AC compressor, and then the water pump. You want to check all the hoses, making sure they're securely mounted. You want to make sure that there's no air leaks. Make sure you check all the hardware, make sure none of it's missing. All the electrical, you want to make sure that those are all well insulated and well connected. Your belt right here, you want to make sure that the belt has no more than a 3/4 inch play. And you want to make sure all that the AC compressor and the water pump and all them are securely mounted to the brackets. Okay. Okay, on this part right here we have the different kinds of hoses. We have the radiator hose, the air hose, we have the fuel hose, or the oil hose, and then we have fuel hoses. You want to make sure all the hoses that I mentioned have all their clamps on. So everything is securely mounted and tightened. You want to make sure that the hoses themselves have no leaks. And from here we want to go ahead and check our electrical harness. We want to make sure all the electrical is well insulated and well connected. And while we're at it, we have our power steering. We want to make sure our power steering is up to its proper level, and that all the caps on the power steering and on the engine oil all is securely fastened. Here's your dipstick for the oil. You want to make sure that is working properly, and you also want to check the oil, making sure that you're reading up to its proper level. From here, we're going to go ahead and move to our steering system. This is our steering column right here. You want to make sure there's no bends, no cracks, and no illegal welds. You have these U-joints right here. You want to make sure that the U-joints are well lubricated and well connected to your steering box. The steering box, you want to make sure everything's securely fastened, not missing any hardware, and that this bolt right here is securely fastened. From your steering box, you have the pitman arm. The pitman arm, you want to make sure it has no bends, no cracks, no illegal welds, and that it's securely mounted. From here you have your castle nut and cotter pin. You want to make sure those are in good working condition. From here we have our boots. You want to make sure the boots are well lubricated and well connected, that there's no damage. From here we have our steering linkage. This is our steering linkage. You want to make sure that it has no bends, no cracks, and no illegal welds as well. From here we move on to our suspension system. This is our spring mount. We have our spring mount. Want to make sure it's not missing any hardware, and that there's no bends, cracks, illegal welds, and everything is in good working condition. From here we have our leaf springs right here. Leaf springs. We want to make sure our leaf springs have no more than 25% damage. And from there we have our U-bolts. The U-bolts, you want to make sure are securely fastened to the axle, that there's no bends, cracks, or illegal welds, and everything is in good working condition. From here we have our shock absorber. You want to make sure our shock absorber has no cracks and no leaks. You also want to check to make sure that it's securely mounted to the bottom base and on the upper part to the bracket. The bracket securely mounted to the frame. From there we have our brake system. For the brake system, this is a single air brake chamber. You want to make sure that the housing is in good working condition, that there's no cracks and no damage. You want to check all the bolts and make sure that those are securely fastened. Check the hoses, make sure that there's no cracks and no damage. You also want to check this nut right here, making sure that it's in good working condition. From here we have our slack adjusters. You want to make sure our slack adjuster is not missing anything, that all the hardware is in place and everything's in good working condition. The slack adjuster is not allowed to have any more than 1 inch play. If it does, for manual adjustment, it's one full turn right, 1/4 turn left. From here, we have our brakes. we have our we want to make sure that the disc or the brake pad has no less than 25%. 25%. And from there, you also want to check the brake drum, making sure that there's no cracks, no damage, no white, no black powder. From there, you want to check the inside of the rim, making sure there's no cracks and no damages. Outside of this is the same thing. You want to check the rim, making sure there's no cracks, no damage. You also want to check make sure you're not missing any of the lug nuts, making sure everything's securely fastened. Check the oil hub seal, making sure there's no leak and it's filled up to its proper level. Right here you have the valve stem. You want to make sure it's not touching the rim and that everything's in good working condition. You also want to check the tire. This tire is not allowed to be retread, it has to be new. Depth tread, no less than 4/32 of an inch. And you also want to check the face of the tire, making sure there's no cuts, no bulges, no holes. The air pressure needs to be in between 80 and 120 psi or whatever the manufacturer recommends. The same inspection I did to this tire and to the brake system and to the suspension applies to the passenger side of the truck. And we continue on.